Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another art video. I hope you guys had a great week. So this week's video is going to be a bit of a montage of different footage. And the reason for that is that the piece that I'm working on that I was working on for this week's video is still not finished. And so I thought I would create a new piece for this week's video. And as you can see, or as you will see, the two pieces that I tried to do just did not work out. This first piece I'm working on is supposed to be a fox, and for some reason I just could not get the face right. So I gave up on that and shelved it and started working on another idea that I had of this little pathway through some mushrooms, like a little fairyland maybe. And again, I just couldn't get it to look the way I wanted it to. And I tend to get discouraged whenever my art doesn't work out. I'll give up and put it away, walk away, and just not work on anything. And I'm trying to get out of that habit. So I tried to ask myself, okay, well, what can you do to feel like you've accomplished something? The drawing isn't working out, so what else can you do? And then I remembered that I had a couple of sketches that I've started and walked away from and didn't finish. And they're sketches that I really liked, so I thought I would come back to those and finish them up. This first one, this angel, I did about 6 months ago, and then I liked her a lot. I liked the sketch, so I decided to color it, and then for whatever reason I got distracted or got pulled away from it and just didn't come back to it, and it was sitting in my sketchbook unfinished all this time. And I feel so good after having pulled it out and finished it that I decided, well, I have another sketch that I wanted to finish. I sketched this one out for a live stream that I did on my Facebook page, and then I colored the hair and again got distracted, got pulled away from it and didn't finish. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're struggling in any aspect of your artwork or whatever creative outlet that you have, there's nothing saying that you have to sit there and make yourself or force yourself to work on something that just isn't panning out at the moment. You might need to just step away. You might need a break. You might need to just work on another aspect of your craft or whatever it is that you do for fun or to be creative. And I found out that when I started working on finishing coloring these sketches, I just felt so much more relaxed and so much more confident in my skills, because for one, I was doing something that I'm really pretty good at, and that's coloring. And two, I was completing a project that I had left earlier. So I guess I'm just trying to say that, if you're working on something and it's just not happening at the moment, there's nothing wrong with putting it down and walking away and picking it up again at another time whenever you feel more fresh and more confident in your abilities. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. And the second is that someone in my comment section of my last video asked me if I had any tips for beginners. Well, I'm not a professional myself. I don't know that I'm qualified really to give advice for beginners because I'm not that far from it. But I can tell you that if you're just starting out and you have a desire to learn to draw, don't wait around. Go ahead and start. You can start by copying photographs that you like to look at, like portraits or animals, plants, landscapes, cars, whatever it is that you're interested in, go look up some pictures. Go Google images of whatever you would like to try to draw and go ahead and just do it. Because if you wait around for yourself to be ready, you're never really going to start. I'm speaking from experience here. I'm 36 years old, and I spent so much time as a young person or a younger person waiting for inspiration to strike or waiting for my skills to just magically appear out of nowhere. And if you know anything about any kind of skill, that just doesn't happen. And that's that little magic word that everyone says whenever you ask, how can I get better at this? And that's practice. And if you're a very, very early beginner, I'll tell you how I learned how to do most of what I know how to do now. And that's looking up instructional videos on YouTube and art books. You go into your local craft store or art store, go back to their reference section, their books, and just browse through them. Pick out one that inspires you and just go from there. And I promise you, if you just go ahead and get started, don't get discouraged at your present skill level, because the more you do it, the better you'll get. Artwork is not some magical, mystical talent that you're born with. Sure, there are people who are born with, tendencies for certain things. But that doesn't mean that if you want to learn and you don't think you were born with some kind of skill, that doesn't mean that you can't learn how to do it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the best tip I can offer for a beginner is just draw what you like and use resources and just go for it. Just start. Don't get discouraged if you don't like what you come up with the first time. Just keep on going. And so I'll leave you all with that. I got to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's video. And as always, God bless. And I'll see you next week. Bye.